Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle, and today we are going to talk about quotes. We're going to talk about some of my favorite quotes that I found from back in 2017. So let's get into it. So earlier today, I was up in my room going through some of my books, and I came across a set of quotes that I wrote down in 2019 that kind of represented my life at the time. And I thought it would be fun to share them with you and kind of break them down a little bit as to why they meant so much to me. So I don't have a lot of these memorized, so I'm going to be reading them straight from the journal. And the way we'll do it is I'll read the quote first, then I'll say who it was by, and then I'll break it down. All right, so here's the first one. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be totally satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. You're probably not going to believe who said that. It was Steve Jobs. But I really liked this quote because at the time I was going through a transition in my life, and I was closing down my photography business. I had recently become overworked, overstressed. I felt like the job wasn't lighting me up. I felt like it was just shallow work, and I felt like I wasn't really adding value to people's lives when I was in the photography business. Now, other people may feel that's their purpose and their thing to do in life, but it just wasn't mine. And I kind of knew that going into it because I knew I was good at photography and I thought it was an easy way to make money. But I realized that making money isn't really the main goal, or it shouldn't be. It's mostly bringing value to people's lives and making a difference in the world, and just feeling a deep sense of purpose in what you're doing, because it is going to take a large part of your life up. And so I closed down the photography business and I started the coaching business. And I feel like that I'm actually contributing to people's lives, and I feel like I'm able to serve in this position, and I feel like it's a better match. And to me, that's way more fulfilling than just doing a job to make money. Okay, so the next one is, if you can't explain it simply, then you don't understand it enough. Albert Einstein said that. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with you guys on YouTube. I just take these complex ideas and I break them down into simple steps that hopefully you can learn and apply to your life. Okay, this next one I got from reading a book called How to Be Here. And it says, life is short, use the fine china. And I just thought this quote was so great. And that was by Rob Bell, by the way. But I thought this quote was so great because I just bought my first set of china back in 2017. And I had it in this display case, and it was all beautiful and perfect. And we didn't hardly use it. But after I read that quote, I was like, yeah, life is short, and I'm going to eat off these things every night. And so we started using them. And even though I have one broken, one plate broken, one bowl broken, and another plate chipped, I still use them. And you know what? When things get broken in life, I just feel like my philosophy is the universe is telling me that I need to upgrade and buy something better. So that's probably what I'm going to do. And anytime that you see me post food on Instagram, you'll see this blue china. And so anytime you see this blue china on any food pictures you see on my Insta story, that's the china I'm talking about. So yeah, use your fine china because life is short. All right, the next one is, to affect the quality of the day is the highest of arts. And Thoreau said that. And I really live by this quote every single day. You know, I go into the day and I try to think, how can I make this day as artful and as beautiful and as enjoyable and pleasurable as possible? And sometimes I'll do this when I go to a restaurant and my husband really doesn't like it, but if I get sat in a corner somewhere where it's dark and dreary and I don't have a view and it's just like blah, I'll kindly ask the waitress if she can move us to that table over there that's kind of elevated, and I have that nice view and the chandeliers hanging over us, and I don't have any shame in my game. I'm going to elevate whatever I can elevate, because that's the point in life. If you do have a choice to upgrade, do it. All right, this next one is kind of a long one, so bear with me. And some of you guys may know exactly who this is when I start reading it, but some of you may not. So here it goes. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes a cup. If you put water into a bottle, it becomes a bottle. You put water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can flow or water can crash. Be water, my friend. And of course, that was Bruce Lee. I'm sure you know by now. Bruce Lee is a really cool guy, and I discovered him back in 2017. I discovered his philosophy. I had known Bruce Lee from movies and from his martial arts background, but I had no clue that he wrote philosophy until I came across this podcast that was called the Bruce Lee Podcast, and his daughter runs that podcast along with one of her friends, and she shares his philosophy. And he really helped me. Some of his words did when I was learning meditation. So empty your mind. Obviously, I would say that to myself when I would need to be grounded and to kind of come back to my center, because my mind may have been racing with all these thoughts of negativity and worry and things like that. And I would just say, empty your mind, and it would start emptying. Be formless, shapeless like water, like go with the flow. And that's another part of this quote that I liked, is that, it kind of said to go with the flow and to take the path of least resistance. If you think of water going down a river, it goes down the river, and even though there might be a wall of rocks, somehow, some way, that water is going to get through that wall of rocks, because what water does is it finds the path of least resistance. The way it can go through easiest is the path it's going to take. And I think that's a good metaphor for life, to go with the flow and go the path of least resistance, not forcing, but flowing things in life. We can get to our destination a lot faster if we're going down the river with the current instead of against the current. So sometimes when we are forcing our will on life, it can be kind of a struggle, like paddling up water upstream. But if we can just let go and go with the flow, a lot of times we'll end up at our destination a lot quicker and a lot easier, and it'll definitely be more peaceful. But the other part of this quote, when it starts talking about you put water in a cup, it becomes a cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. And you put water into a teapot, and it becomes a teapot. To me, this is like talking about becoming one with whatever circumstance that you're put in. You just become one with it. And even with people, you realize that you're all one, and you're not separate, and you're not as different as you think you are from everyone around you. We're all connected, and we're all human, and we all are we're all one. Now, the part where we're talking about flow again, where the water can flow, kind of you be easy and flexible and malleable, and you can mold to things and people's ideas and people's ways or whatever. And then sometimes you got to crash like water does. And that, to me, means sometimes you got to be hard, and you got to stand up for yourself, and you got to just tell people like it is sometimes, because water's like that. You've seen water, take over cities, and you just kind of have to step back and let it be. And you've seen it crash against rocks, and you've seen the power of water. Look at the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon was made from the Colorado River just cutting through the rock. Water's really powerful. And so sometimes we have to be a powerful person, and it's okay to be powerful so we can mold and shape our lives into what we want them to be sometimes, especially when you come up against people who are being mean to you, who are being disrespectful to you, and who don't respect you or your boundaries. Okay, and finally the last one, which is enjoy your burrito. This is probably the most funny and simple and freaking deep quote that I just absolutely love because of the simplicity and the humor in it. But yeah, enjoy your burrito. I actually heard this from the Nerdist podcast back when Chris Hardwick was the host. He's no longer the host on that podcast. I actually don't know what he's doing. The last time I saw him on Instagram, which was a few years back, I don't think I follow him anymore. He was redoing this house, in like this really medieval gothic decor. It was crazy. He's a super nerd. I love it. I'm gonna go back on Instagram and see if I can't find him and see what's going on later today. But anyway, he was telling a story about, I don't know if it was about him or about a guy, but I'm going to kind of tell you the gist of what he said, along with why he likes to say enjoy your burrito. Because he used to say enjoy your burrito after every podcast. And I was like, why does he say that? And I think one time he explained it. And it went something like this. He was like, either he was in a cafeteria in between work, like taking a lunch break, or it was somebody else. And they're just like, eating their lunch, and they're going through the motions of eating lunch and dreading having to go back to work. And the guy looks down and he realizes that half his burrito's already ate and he doesn't even remember eating it. And it kind of reminds me of SpongeBob. I have 5 kids, so I have my maturity level is a little lower than the rest of you guys. But I have 5 kids, and we used to watch SpongeBob. Do you remember SpongeBob and Patrick when they got like lost in the wilderness, and they had these 2 bars of chocolate, and they were sitting around this campfire, and Patrick decides that he's gonna eat his chocolate, and so he says, "I think I'll eat it now," and he puts the whole bar of chocolate in his mouth, including the wrapper and all. And he sits there for like 4 seconds or so, and then he says again, "I think I'll eat it now," and he ends up biting his hand because he already ate the chocolate bar, but he had ate it so fast that he had forgotten he had ate it. And basically the point of me telling that story was, oh, and then he blamed SpongeBob, but I think he just really wanted to eat SpongeBob's chocolate bar. But the point is to enjoy your burrito means to like slow down and to enjoy the textures of all the different pieces of the burrito, kind of like life. Life has got various pieces and facets to it, but to kind of like enjoy the burrito, experience every bite and every bit of flavor and pleasure and sensation, and take your time and just chew the food and swallow it. Be intentional about enjoying the flavor, kind of like Patrick should have done with the chocolate. You ever ate chocolate and ate it slowly? It's really pleasurable. But to like take it in, and you can do this with like really sweet foods, like this really good muffin, a chocolate muffin. You just bite into it and you enjoy it instead of wolfing it down. That's how we should do life. We should just be fully immerse ourselves in every moment and enjoy the texture and the bloom of the moment and the pleasure of the moment and all the flavors of life. And take time to sit back and enjoy it, and be present is basically what that quote to me means, is to be present. So that's why I like that quote. Super cool, super easy, kind of reminds you to like slow down and take things in and soak it up. And that's what I like about it. And just remember, life's like a burrito and you should enjoy it. So that is all of my favorite quotes from 2017. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Go ahead and leave me your favorite quote below. I'm really curious to know, maybe your favorite quote of this year or any other year. It's fine. And you can leave multiple quotes because I love reading quotes. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed that. And don't forget to enjoy your burrito. Have a good day. Bye-bye.